Another Chick Chat. We're back with another Teen Mom episode 12, and we're getting close to the end of the season, I think.
I thought so too. I almost got a little bit scared that this was the finale or something because the recap for this episode went back really far. And usually that happens when we're at the end. Next week will not be the finale either. It seems like we're getting towards the end. Maybe that's just wishful thinking on our part because this season started off pretty great, but it's really sputtering out.
You got a bunch of random storylines, and then Cheyenne holding almost the whole consistent storyline together with her fertility. She must have some kind of contract. She's in every episode for this. It's crazy.
I almost feel too that's even maybe why we saw Amber this episode. Not that Amber has the same type of contract that Cheyenne has, obviously, but I think they probably also have minimum filming time as well. And so I think they just happened upon her house one morning and she just happened to wake up because that's the way it looks when we see her this episode, but we'll get there. As usual, I think we're saving her for the end. So we do start off this episode. We're going to start off with Leah, Allie, and Gracie, as we call her. They're going to get their learner's permit. Allie has to get quite a few medical clearances, at least a clearance for her eyesight and at least a clearance for her like neuromuscular for her muscular dystrophy. So from her doctor, that covers all of that. So that's what we're focusing on in Leah's world this episode. Leah tells her sister when she's talking about being nervous about what the potential outcomes could be that if Allie is not able to get her learner's permit because the doctors tell her that she can't, that she's going to be protesting out in front of City Hall. And I believe that. So let's cross our fingers for the citizens of the earth.
I felt bad because Leah did also mention that she's usually the bearer of bad news in this conversation, and she don't really know what Corey's doing, but it does seem more like she's got to be the bad guy a lot more often than not.
Yeah, especially this season too. We have definitely gotten more of a look into how Leah and Allie have clashed because of her muscular dystrophy. And it is just really sad to watch because obviously Leah only has Allie's best intention, but Leah also doesn't know what it's like to have a disability, and that is heart-wrenching for her. And Allie wants to do all the things that regular teenagers do. But teenagers don't really much care about safety, and they don't really appropriately grasp what is safe.
They're not there yet.
They're just not there yet. And that's not their job. Their job is to push limits and become independent and make mistakes and all of that. So I think Leah is just struggling with how muscular dystrophy has affected her relationship with Allie. And I think it's a great idea for the doctors to be the ones bearing the bad news instead of Leah when possible. I also got a little bit of tension again in this conversation between the two of them. Did you pick up on that again too, or am I just
And they're always a little.
Yeah.
I think there always is just a little underlining tone of, wow, you know?
Yeah. These two sisters definitely have a history.
I take Allie to the doctor's appointments, and luckily for Leah and Allie, she did get cleared to do this driving stuff.
The doctor asks Allie, "Are you healthy? Do you have any medical conditions?" And Allie's like, "Yeah, I'm good." Leah's like, "You have muscular dystrophy." Allie looked like she was pissed off.
She did not need that out there.
Yeah, she's still working on the acceptance part, obviously.
She's getting through it, you know?
Yeah, that's
I think at one of these tests or something, when they got there, Leah was like, and when we get there, we can advocate for something or other. Either it was muscular dystrophy driving or something or some shit like that. And the kids were like, no.
I didn't hear that. Oh my God. I bet they'll do a whole PSA of Allie behind the wheel and how to get all the proper documentations.
They probably will.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, she gets the okay to drive from her. Is this an optometrist? I don't go to the eye doctor. Is that what it's called?
I don't know.
You got glasses.
Oh, yes. An eye
Is that
doctor.
where you get your glasses?
The eye doctor.
The baby doctor. The eye doctor. RuPaul's back for us. He's gonna make
serving the same look as Allie here.
I know. Oh my gosh, you're right. Like twins right here. Bam!
She's like,
Fierce. We're gonna see RuPaul quite a bit in this episode pictures, so prepare yourselves. But we also hear that she got the neuromuscular approval from her muscular dystrophy doctor. That is a good thing. Leah said that they went to all these doctors really in preparation and trying to be proactive so that when they do go to take these tests, that Allie is not turned away because she doesn't want her daughter to have that experience, obviously. So it looks like they're all prepared and they're ready to go. I did not take a picture, I don't think. No, I did not take a picture of them in the car on the way to the DMV, but that's where we leave Leah and the girls is this episode.
And the girls are fighting for their lives to not give a PSA.
They're trying really hard to not have to be involved in a PSA this episode, and I think they won. This episode, they won.
So far.
Battle
might be won, but not the war.
Moving on to Mackenzie, who has won the IVF battle and the divorce battle.
I was so mad at her this episode. That's why she got her number 2 spot on the pyramid. Because, to be honest, they got me going with this divorce thing. I'm like, oh my gosh, the girl ain't even divorced. Just for them to, in 2 minutes, be like, haha, I had the papers all along. Those were real papers, and it just wasn't entered. Couldn't see it in the system.
In her defense, she had said that she has the papers all along. When the lawyers questioned her, she said she has the final judgment. It was more so everyone else that was telling her she didn't have the papers. But I completely agree.
Like she didn't know where they were.
She was a little concerned about locating them. You're right. And I felt like initially, especially watching the last episode, that if she had the damn papers, that she would have taken them to the damn attorney. But who knows?
Hope she got her money back from that hour they probably spent talking about the divorce instead of the custody.
And maybe that was her strategy all along, that lawyer. She just wanted to...
Extra.
She said, oh, this divorce was done by an unreputable source, and so I'm going to just charge the hour to just make sure. No, I'm just
got
kidding.
yourself an AI computer-generated chat GPT divorce up in here.
I mean, honestly, it seems like that's what she did. So if I was a lawyer, I'd probably want to look into the legality of that too before I start jumping into parenting agreements. But yeah, anyways, the stuff was located. I was sort of pumped up about this as well. I thought that we were going somewhere with this. Not that it's a good thing, because she is trying to get married and she's about to have twins, as we're going to find out in all of this. So would not have been good for her to not be divorced. But I was all pumped up about the storyline because they showed it to us. But no, nothing burger, as Anne likes to call it.
There was a top and there was a bottom, but a nothing burger.
Burger and nothing.
Burger and nothing.
Signed by a judge and says final judgment, as that lady wanted. So she calls the lawyer back. She says that we're back to square one. I would still like to discuss with you what I initially wanted to discuss with you. And the lawyer gives her a couple of different options. The easiest one being to just try to modify the current parenting plan that they have now to like exclude him. I'm pretty sure that those were the words that she used. I'm not a lawyer. I could be wrong. She says if Dersh denies that modification, then they would have to file a motion and go through the court process for that. But if Dersh doesn't respond at all, which is probably the most likely scenario, then the court will sort of automatically rule in her favor. So we'll see. As soon as she gets all this information, she decides she wants to quickly pivot and stop thinking about this. She's not going to move forward at this time. She's going to focus on the upcoming babies.
I reckon.
I know she was going really just to get some information on what the process would be like. So I guess that she got that and a little bit more. But that's the theme of the year for Mackenzie, is you get what you're asking for and a little bit more.
I mean, it still ain't really changing the fact that the reason you're thinking about this is because you've inseminated yourself with 2 embryos. And that is a risk. And if there is a risk, then this could be a possibility. This could be a possible. And then there with Jersh.
There with Jersh.
Then we go over to this appointment with the ultrasound, and we get to see
Look at the face of terror before the ultrasound of if she may have twins. I mean, I understand that there's a medical complexity to this, so I know she probably is genuinely worried, but I think it's a little bit comical too, you know. As long as everybody's safe and healthy at the end of this, it's just a little bit of funny irony because obviously there's twins.
Well, they can be done after this.
Oh, they're going to be done after
the 2 more.
She said they do, but she said after going through the IVF process, and maybe she would have changed her mind if it wasn't successful, but after just going through the process, that she wasn't even sure if she'd be able to do that part again to try to insert the other 2. So I think that this was tough for her. I'm sure pregnancy has been hard. When they find out she's having twins, they do seem excited, but obviously twins are a high-risk pregnancy, and her type 1 diabetes is a high-risk pregnancy, and that cannot be easy. And she's just such a small-framed person. She was talking about how she has these 10-pound babies. I'm worried for her. I am. It seems like she has a good medical team. She has this insulin pump going, so it should really regulate her pretty well. But obviously, double high risk is not ideal.
When she opens her eyes, she's just risk.
Girl
At this
is full
point.
of risk. Full of risk and full of getting more than she bargained for.
So much risk. But we do find out at her appointment that she is about 6 weeks along, and she is in fact having twins, which did freak them both out. But
I think she was worried for a moment that she was going to be Octomom or something, because this doctor was like, well, let me count. And he's like, how many do you see? She goes, only 2, right? What a strange way to be confirmed that you're having twins, is to think that you're actually having more, and then you're relieved that there's only 2. Just a little bit ago, this was your face at the idea of 2. And then you're in there and you're like, only 2, right?
there's just 2. They finish up at the doctor's office, and really that's all we get from Mackenzie this episode.
Yes. So far, everything looks healthy. The doctor's visit seems to go well.
She's still pregnant to this day.
She's still pregnant and she's big.
She's probably about cooked, but who's to know? We will see soon. TBT.
Moving on to Cheyenne.
Maybe they'll have some kind of gender reveal where they find out the gender in the bathroom first, and then they come out and cut it in front of everybody.
Maybe. Possible.
Possible. Anyways, moving on to our regular week-to-week paycheck, 9 to 5 job, Cheyenne.
I think Cheyenne also amended her contract to be in every week, also to include her good friend Zaina to also be included.
This girl's been on TV more than Caitlin and Tyler this year.
That's true. If you don't know this girl, or if she looks familiar and you're trying to figure out why, she was also on The Ultimatum on Netflix, I think the most recent season.
Mm-hmm.
But she's been friends with Cheyenne since way back. She did a whole PowerPoint video with Cheyenne and Zach about whether or not they should get back together after their first breakup. So she's been here, A1 since day one.
They're just trying to launch her.
Yes, but we also saw her doing the yoni cleanse or whatever steam last episode with Cheyenne. She's gonna also collect her bag alongside Cheyenne, who has definitely secured some kind of weekly recurring scene in almost every episode in Teen Mom.
Yeah, now she's mad at Zach. Some of these I feel like are, yes, some of them are normal problems that people have, but just some of it I feel like has to be almost produced in a way. Like when she talks to Zach about it later, he's like, oh, what, this now?
He could not have seemed less interested. It makes me think either what you're saying, which I think is fair, that maybe a lot of this is overproduced or kind of fluffed up to give her all these scenes. Or I know she's in every episode, but she still only see 5 minutes of her in every episode. And I wonder if she really is going through something for mental health wise because of this fertility that we just don't really see. And I think every time we see her, she's just mad at everyone. She's exhausted. At least in this episode, she is talking about how she's a poor communicator, because I just couldn't figure out what the hell was going on between her and Zach that was so bad. But I'm guessing if she's a poor communicator when she's upset and what's going on is upsetting to her, she's probably not been very nice to him the last couple of months. And then Ryder has been in the hospital. So I think she's going through more behind the scenes. I also think it's possible that she has a perfectly fine life and she's content, and the producers are just assisting her with fluffing up some scenes.
Or both could be true.
That's possible.
She could be going through a lot, but he's going to work now. What is he not doing exactly that she's referring to? I felt more confused after her scenes than I did before watching her scenes. Like I didn't really know what the true issue was with Zach.
Yes, and she was
around
telling Dana she wasn't really sure what she wanted from him, just that she wasn't really feeling supported. And I get what she meant when she was talking to her mom about, he talks to me like my dad talks to me, because he kind of was telling her in this scene, like, man up, be positive. It was sort of the toxic positivity that we always accuse Cassano of. And he didn't give her any space to be vulnerable and sad and to support her in that, at least in this conversation. And if that's what's going on when Cheyenne does open up, I can see why she's probably not opening up a lot or looking for a lot of support from him. And that's not great.
Yeah, I give Cheyenne a lot of crap for being in every episode, getting her check about this, but it is a very relatable topic for a lot of people. Fertility and trying to conceive or trying to have a baby, or even if you've had one before, you can try and have another. Like there's just so many different variations that people have been through. And it's also hard for men. And I've also heard a lot of things about being patient with men as well, because they really don't understand. It's different for us and they are affected in other ways. And there's a different moment where she's talking to Zach, where she kind of almost accuses him of not really being,
not wanting it as much as she wants it,
saying I pray for it, I do this and that. A lot of guys don't really show emotion the way girls do or expect them to. My husband's definitely one of those that would never, you won't see him getting emotional around the house or anything, but see him being more positive or supportive, or people do things in their own different ways.
Yeah, it's really hard. You just want something and you can't have it, and so you're not really trying to hear nothing.
Ian wants to try therapy, and it seems like Zach's okay with it, but he's trying to figure out what the difference is this time. I'm wondering if they've been to therapy before.
Yeah, Anne's mom suggests it in this little nail thing, but that
He going to these damn relationship couples counseling things for like months, 3 months at a time. I think they need to go to a real therapist. I think that'd be different, right?
I think that would be different than what they've experienced, at least what we've seen them experience on TV. Because
Yeah.
everything they did in the family reunion last season, where all their partners came, that was coaching. That was, group thing. We can get vulnerable, but we're not getting deep, right? And then we're giving some tools. That was coaching. I think that they could benefit from that. I think anyone could benefit from that.
Yeah, like a relationship coach, and Zach's like, "Oh, is that going to be different?" It's like, what do you mean? That's the same exact thing as what you've been doing. You every time you go to these family reunions, you got all these people coaches.
Right.
What do you
Right.
mean?
Right. Possibly what he might have meant when he said, let me ask you a question. Do you think we need therapy? Maybe he was suggesting that they, like you said, need something different than what they've had before instead of a coach. I think maybe he was suggesting therapy instead of coaching. What I think would be beneficial. Therapy does not mean that you're on the brink of divorce and have a broken relationship. I mean, probably just should get a divorce if you're on the brink of divorce. Therapy requires like real motivation and effort and love between two people. It's not easy work. So I think they could do it if they wanted to. It's clear that what's going on, this fertility thing, has really impacted their relationship, because I was kind of caught off guard to even hear that there was problems going on that they would think that they'd need therapy or coaching or anything for. But it totally makes sense, because we have seen Cheyenne not be very kind and nice when she's hurting, and obviously she's hurting. So
Hopefully they get the therapy or the coaching or the
maybe
whatever that they need.
Yeah.
But yeah, Zach seemed a little bit caught off guard this episode as well.
He does, and he seems a little bit disinterested, to be honest. I think he's probably along the lines of, meant to be will be, and we need to sort of chill out. And I don't think she wants to hear that, so she doesn't feel like listening.
It's very difficult when you're that invested, but it also sometimes gets to a point where that almost is the undoing of you as well. So it's difficult to be in Cheyenne's shoes here. So
Yeah, no, that's what she was talking about at the nail salon with her mom, was that it was starting to kind of go from something that she wants to being an obsession, and she was realizing that that wasn't really healthy either. So you think, time to focus back on your relationship and making that really solid. That's supposed to be the person you're going to be with forever. I know you want to create another life with him, but if you create another life with him and foundation's not good, then that's really going to suck. So I think this has been really hard on them. Understandably, I'm not judging them for that, but I think
yeah,
it's
when
great
he
that
was
they're
looking up firehouses and stuff, she was like, all right, maybe.
maybe.
Now that he works 9 to 5, and this has consumed her. Just be careful what you wish for. And maybe that's what's going through Zach's head right now, because this was really Zach's doing at the
I was
family
just
reunion.
thinking that. Yep. He's the one that wanted a baby. She didn't want it. Then she decided that she wanted it, and now having all these problems. And there's no blame there, but it's funny how things work out. Funny and also horrible, depending on if it's happening to you.
Right.
So on to who's next? Oh, Ryan and Macy, but mostly Ryan this episode. We got a lot of Ryan.
A lot of a young Larry here.
Baby Larry.
And he is basically young Larry.
We do start off Ryan's scenes with Macy. She is visiting Amanda, and they pretend to do a little bit of packing together, but that was really terrible acting. And they pretty much just talk about how Amanda's son, Brandon, I think his name is going to be moving in with them at their new house, and that she finally has full custody. So she pulled a little Janelle, it seems like, back in the day. Her dad took custody of her son, and I think has had her son, it seems like, since now. So finally, she's healthy enough to have her son back, which I think is amazing. Congrats to all of them.
Sounds like her life's really turned around for her the last couple of years. So, as with most Ryan scenes, we do see Macy for a moment, but
So relays all that information back to Taylor, and Taylor says he's not helping them move.
he said, "I've done enough. I played golf with them. I'm not loading a truck with them."
Yeah, he says we're good now. I don't owe them nothing. They don't owe me nothing. We're
I
gonna
bought
leave
a
it.
truck with them. They went 50-50. I ain't loading the truck with them.
Load up Bentley's truck.
They got a Bentley they can call upon.
Amanda does share with Macy in the conversation earlier that they're obviously thinking about Bentley with this house, and that they would like for Bentley to be around and to spend the night. And Macy says that she doesn't really see a problem with that. So she also talks to Taylor about that idea. as well. I think they probably won't keep a parenting schedule by any means. Bentley is 16 now. He has a car and all of that. So I don't think it's really going to be court ordered or consistent or regular kind of thing. But Macy does say that she's more comfortable than she's ever been before with Bentley staying anywhere that Ryan lives. And I don't know. I guess I thought that there was a period of stability for a while with Mackenzie, that Bentley was going over there. But I guess Bentley didn't really get along with Mackenzie. Obviously, Macy didn't get along with Mackenzie. I don't know how I'd feel about Bentley going over there. He was always on and off of things during that marriage. I was just surprised to hear that this really would be the first time that Bentley is staying at Ryan's. So this is a pretty nice house for Ryan and Amanda. I don't know if it's purchased, if it's a rental, or whatever it is, but it looks brand new.
I think it's rented, but I'm not sure. But everything on the inside is beige gray.
Just like my house. Mine's got like a little bit of a blue to it.
This little scene between the boys was cute and rehearsed, I felt, at the same time. It was giving when everyone used to give Alia all this crap about Addie's scenes and how it seemed like she was performing for her own show or something. It felt very strange. Like,
yeah,
it's going to be awesome to have a big brother around.
I know. I think that was definitely something that...
Leave it to Beaver.
Yeah, that was definitely something someone probably suggested for him to say while he was on camera. But I think this is probably his first time on camera, so he's probably real nervous. And also, it's one of his first times staying with his mom, too. So this kid just probably don't know how to act.
I'm sure he stayed with her before, but yeah, it's probably been a while. But
they both related that they've never stayed with their parent before. That he shared that with Bentley, and then Bentley said, well, I've never stayed with my dad before. And they both kind of went like, like they both kind of freaked out for a minute. So this is going to be a new thing. I'm a little bit confused. Are there not enough bedrooms, or do they just think it's a good idea to put all of their children in the same basement room? I'm not really trying to hate, but I am a little bit confused, to be honest. I don't think that that's a great idea to just mix all your kids together when you're trying to blend this sort of broken family.
Maybe they're just acting like Bentley's going to be staying there more than he is.
Everyone in that basement. Brandon, Bentley, Jagger, and Stella.
Well, Stella and Jagger hadn't really actually gone over there yet, I don't think, but...
I know, but that's what they said their plans were. So that's what I'm like, what the hell? Are there not enough bedrooms? Because you got...
Hopefully that was a joke.
And Stella in a room with 3 other boys. One of them is 16. That doesn't work.
Yeah, that might have been a joke of some sort.
I hope it was a joke. But they were talking about where they're going to put all their things and their basketball hoops and whatever. So I guess we'll see. Apparently, we're going to see a lot more of Ryan's scenes. So
I died when the producers had Bentley ask this kid, how do you feel about your mom being pregnant? His mom's like about to give birth. What do you mean? Like, she's not newly pregnant. Like, he's come to terms, I'm sure. Like,
well, maybe I'm sure that these two have met before, but it doesn't seem like he's been around a whole lot.
How do you feel about your mom being pregnant? It was given as Kyle Slow, you know.
It's totally giving as Kyle Slow. Bentley has had a couple of his own scenes. Remember the scene he had a couple episodes ago with his friends at his birthday, and they were all like, so my mom was pregnant at this age.
Yeah, every time people talk to Bentley, it's just so
about
funny.
Being pregnant. Even in this episode coming up, okay, so there's this and Jen and Larry, but then this comes up and Ryan asked Bentley to come outside so they can have this nice fatherly, apology talk, which is nice and everything. But
which was so Larry.
Larry. But Ryan starts it off with, when your mom was your age and I was a little bit older, we was having kids.
Having kids, like he's the only one. Like,
why is it always with this kid stuff with Bentley? I get that you want to educate him, but he's telling his friends about pregnancies. He's talking to this stranger's child, he's never met Brandon very much. I mean, it's just wild.
And every time anyone talks to Bentley like this, all you get from Bentley the entire time is a bunch of yeah,
and chuckles, sniffles.
Ryan doesn't realize he has morphed into Larry, and he is now Larry talking to Ryan.
He is now Larry talking to Ryan. It's so true.
It is. It's so strange. He's like, hope you have fun in that basement, but don't be sneaking out. Let me know where you're going so this way you ain't calling. It was getting confusing him. So is he allowed to sneak out, or you want to know where he's at?
It sounded a little bit like he was encouraging him, but also saying, I know that you're a good kid and all of that. But the point of this conversation, I don't know how he wound himself into all that other stuff he was talking to Bentley about, but I'm pretty sure he brought him out here to apologize to him about what's gone on and to take some accountability, to let Bentley know he doesn't blame anyone for what's happened, that all of that was on him, and invite him into his home for whenever he would like to come. Bentley, I thought that this was actually important. He brings up that, as he's been saying this whole episode, I've never spent a night in a house that you've been in since I was a baby, since I can remember. And I thought that it was really nice that Ryan let him know that he can always say something if he feels uncomfortable. And even if he doesn't want to talk to Ryan about it, that he can talk to Macy about it. But I think that that's really important. I know personally, my dad struggled with addiction, and I never got to spend the night with my dad after a certain day, and I never knew when that was. So I can appreciate him being apprehensive. It's like you kind of write that person off as a parent or as somebody who can care for you and take care of you, because you don't live with them anymore. They don't take care of you anymore. You might see them, but they don't take care of you. So I definitely feel for Bentley that he might feel worried about what that's like and not even really know what to expect at this point. He doesn't really see Ryan as a dad. He's Uncle Ryan, you know? So I can kind of relate to Bentley and being a little bit apprehensive. I'm glad that he had the courage to tell his dad that he's worried that he's never stayed in his house before. Coming from somebody whose parent was an addict and didn't know the last time that they didn't stay in their house. And then I just never stayed at his house anymore because it was kind of a similar situation to Ryan. So I think it's really nice that they can do this again. It's a different thing when you can form a relationship with someone in your own space instead of in someone else's space. He can be a dad and take care of him. So I think that that is going to be really nice for the two of them. I hope that Bentley comes over and spends that time. I'm also glad, though, that Ryan said, if you feel uncomfortable, you can talk to me about it. I think that just gives permission to, even if it just feels weird, that he can talk to him. So I thought that this was nice. They ended with a cute little hug.
A Ryan kind of hug.
Ryan kind of hug. Where's his ugly finger tattoo?
He covered it.
He got it removed, right?
I think he covered it.
Yeah. Well, this helps us answer the question of last episode, if it was a glove or not, but these are just tattoos.
Tattoo gloves.
We thought he had two different colored gloves on because he had on a white glove, but he just has black hands from too many tattoos. So I think that's where we leave Ryan and Macy for the episode.
I bet Macy was so emotional watching this little scene here, Ryan getting all this stuff off his chest. I think it was more almost for Ryan, but Bentley, even though he doesn't show a lot, I'm sure it was a touching conversation for him.
Definitely. Like I said, I can relate a lot to Bentley, and it was emotional for me the first time watching it, just that Ryan turned his life around in enough time to still be able to really spend this time with Bentley. It's really, I think, a bigger deal than Bentley realizes right now.
Yep. He turned it around in the last 2 minutes of the last quarter.
I know, and thank God, because it is late, but it's not too late. This is good for them. So we're going to finish with
somebody who it may be a little too late for.
I think it is too late for her, at least during the childhood stages. I hope that she has a similar relationship as Amber and her mom, which we'll see in this episode later on in life. But I think you're right. I think it is way too late for that. So we get Amber out of bed at the ripe time of 11:13 a.m. in the morning. She's looking like she has been out all night, partying, drinking, on live, probably most likely, screaming at people.
I know you said you thought this was a produced scene, but at the same time, I remember they used to have to come and throw rocks at her window at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So, I mean, I think this is just her life.
No, I think this is totally her life, but I think we would not see Amber for the rest of this season if there wasn't some kind of minimum filming requirements. I think they were just like, do you think you can get to a dinner?
Can we at least film you wake up?
Can we at least give you $2,000? You do something for this money.
Please. I thought they were showing us a damn flashback with this scene because she looked like Amber 2009 getting out of that bed.
She did. She totally did. I felt flashbacks. I was triggered. But it turned out this is what she was doing all night. I mean, obviously she wasn't out drinking. She doesn't really leave the house. That was a joke. But she was on live all night from probably her bed.
Screaming and yelling and
screaming at people. What is this?
Puffy.
So disappointing that this is what she thinks is going to help her situation.
Well,
look how Teen Mom puts that, that stupid editing. Like she's sending it to the girls.
We're gonna thumbs up it and down
right.
it.
Yeah, where's Cheyenne's comments and Macy's comments and everybody?
Yeah, I want to see what they had to say. Did Jade speak up?
Right. You guys know at this point how I love to zoom in and look at what's going on in the pictures, and this was just something, right? I mean, there's a
Yes.
cat.
That's a
cat
cat thing?
Yeah, it's like an animal tent.
Oh, good.
See how there's an animal bed inside there?
In
And it
her
has
bed?
paw prints all over it. I've never heard of this type of contraption, but it's definitely for animals.
Huh.
But she stores her medication on top of it, and she keeps the whole thing on her bed.
She has a big size bed for her cat
Wild.
house.
She sleeps with a cat tent with her medication on top of it. And what type of animal is this?
Well, it's eyes at the top.
Right, but of a horse or a bull or a dog or a cat? I'm sorry.
Amber's spirit animal.
Something. I don't
It's
mean
the
to be
same.
mean. I know that she has, in her words, 4 major mental health disorders. I know that that's got to be hard to function. But at the end of the day, it is not an excuse to not be doing something. This is different.
I'm just relieved that's a cat bed because I truly thought that was some kind of like
Thing.
inflatable houseboat.
When I first saw it, I was like, is she trying to live in that thing? I didn't know if it was
It's
like a
floor.
tent for her to play in. Then
What's
I
in
saw
there?
the pause, and then I did
Okay.
zoom in when I took the picture. And this is, I think,
Okay.
pretty obviously a dog bed or
Mm-hmm.
cat bed.
No, that made more sense when you started talking about it and zooming in. But I was like, is there a little microwave in there and like a bed in there and stuff? Because it kind of started looking like a whole little house, like a little
That's what
tiny
I thought it
house,
was at first.
a little tiny house on her bed.
Yes, this is where the woman functions. This is her second layer of functioning, which is on the couch.
With her nice blankets.
So she did make it to the couch. She's looking sad, but she's out of bed.
The bed is happy for its break, and the couch has punched in.
Couch is punched in. Also, so has her mommy. She decided that after a year of not talking to her mom, probably in the similar type of pattern that she does with everybody, where she cuts everyone off when she starts a new relationship, and then obviously she ain't talking to anyone when she's heartbroken. But she realized that she needs her mom. She has been reaching out and talking to her mom on the phone more. I guess she calls her every morning and cries to her. In the last 3 weeks, she said she saw her mom 3 times. So I guess it's time for their weekly meeting. So that's what they're going to film today.
In the same sweater. Tanya comes and has a conversation with her daughter, who she doesn't really know how many mental disorders she has or why nothing's working if it's been this damn long.
I know she is a little frustrated with the lack of progression. I think she was trying to say before Amber cut her off and told her that there's no cure for this. She's frustrated that the medication hasn't really been sorted out, and I can agree with that. I think we're all a little bit frustrated with Amber. I think we're all a little frustrated with this child psychiatrist that she's seeing. But I think Amber is also correct, and it's hard, I think, for people to understand that some of these things don't get fixed. You just have to figure out a way to live. Now, Amber is not living in a way that's anywhere near healthy. She's not maintaining relationships. She's not keeping her job up. She's not even getting out of bed. So this is not good. But I don't know if that has anything to do with her medication. Like, there's probably no amount of medication that can make a mom feel happy about their child not wanting to talk to them. I know it's Amber's fault, but it's a natural consequence of being a bad mom is to feel guilt. I don't know what her mom expects here.
Are there weights in this woman's glasses? All episode, her glasses were at the tip of her nose, looking like
They
a
are big.
angry librarian.
They're huge. They're oversized.
They're like here all day.
Because they're twice as big as your glasses.
Look at how scary I look with my shit right here. Like, she's not doing herself any favors.
It's true. Yeah, it makes it so that it looks like her eyes aren't open. Like, yeah, she
looks like Scream, dude.
Leah asked her mom to go visit her psychiatrist so that her psychiatrist can explain to her why she hasn't gotten better and what the deal is with the medication and what the 4 major mental health disorders are and how to understand all of that. And that's fine. I'm glad her mom has finally agreed. Her mom said something about, well, I'll go this time. So it sounds like she's been asking. I know she asked Gary to do this. I'm sure she's been asking Leah to do this. She's probably asked everybody in her life to come sit with her child psychiatrist. Whatever. If that's what you guys think is necessary, then I'm not gonna freak out about it. But I don't know what that's gonna do for Amber. Other than I think she's on a mission to make people feel bad for her, to make people just feel so sad for all of the victimization of her mental health disorders, and at the same time, we can be sad for you and also expect for you to live a life.
She was begging for sympathy in this scene when she's like, "Have you heard from Leah?" And her mom's like, "Yeah, she texts me every night.
Says goodnight.
Says goodnight." Then Amber's just grabs the hand. "Oh, I know, honey." It's like her mom kind of low-key almost likes it in a way. Probably because Amber and her had such a crappy relationship. It's like the cycles just keep going and going.
I'm sure we have seen the way Amber has kept relationships, and I'm sure Amber only reaches out to her mom when she's really having a hard time. So there's probably something her mom likes about this.
It's gotta be, because any other mom might have been like, "I mean, I've heard from her, yeah." Like, she just says every night.
Real specific. Yeah, every night she tells me goodnight. Ain't no way that a 16-year-old
Just to
girl
tell me
texts
goodnight.
goodnight. I'm
Well,
sorry.
she
Like,
said,
that's really nice if you are Leah, and I don't mean to say that anyone here is a liar, but I wasn't texting my grandparents goodnight at 16 every night, and I love my grandparents.
she technically didn't say every night. I kind of threw that in there, but she did say she texts me goodnight.
Goodnight. Yeah,
Which would be like a nightly thing, I would think, but
at least here and there, once a week, if you're gonna tell someone texts me goodnight.
goodnight. Otherwise, it's just kind of weird and creepy if you don't normally text your grandparents goodnight to just start randomly texting them goodnight. Like if I started texting one of my aunts goodnight, they'd be like, "The fuck? Are you here or something?" Like out the window.
Her mom reminds her that she can't force the relationship with Leah. Leah will come around when she wants to. Amber wonders if that really will ever happen. She said she's scared or has fear or whatever that might never happen. Cool, but that's just a fear. You don't know what the future holds, so you'll have to stick around, Miss Amber.
The only remedy is to stay in your bed all day long and wait.
And wait for that girl.
Just wait. Wait, but date.
Please don't date.
Wait, but date.
No.
That's the Amber remedy.
That is the Amber remedy, but I hope she doesn't do that again. She needs to take a page out of Bree's book and just, accept being alone forever.
Someone please step on these glasses too. I cannot look at these anymore.
I can support that 100%.
Some people make them look good, but this just looks heavy.
They look heavy. And does she have a nose ring?
It's suffering. It's keeping them on.
Because it's all the way down here. That's her nose ring. Her nose ring is keeping her glasses on. You're absolutely right.
It's stopping the avalanche.
It's like a porcelain doll.
An upset one.
A sad doll.
I bet Robin has one of Amber.
Amber says she has some hope for her relationship with Leah because of her relationship with her mom, that her and her mom have had such a tumultuous relationship, have gone years or maybe longer without talking, and now they're so close and so happy with each other. So maybe that can happen with Leah, but I think it's going to be a long road.
Didn't she say she only has lunch with Tanya like once a semester?
Yeah, she hasn't talked to her in a year, and now she's just talking to her because she probably was on the brink of death, which I'm not trying to be uncompassionate, but I'm exhausted with this lady.
Yeah. She just wants to see who Leah's been texting. She talked to Bubby last time, and now she's talking to her mom.
Yeah.
She's getting the whole family surveyed. She wants to know.
And everyone has been telling her, I know that that's probably the last thing you want to hear, but you need to just wait. You need to just chill out. You need to let Leah do what she's got to do. And eventually she probably will come around. And I personally believe that. But I personally believe it's going to be well into Leah's 20s before she's ready to talk.
Where was all this passion a year or two ago?
Honestly, if you would have kept all of this consistent, you would have a relationship with Leah right now.
It seemed like she waited to the end. I mean,
Leah has always had a lot of compassion for her mom about her mom's mental health struggles. The mental health has never been a problem. The depression, all of that's never been a problem for Leah. It's the lack of consistency, the only coming around when it's convenient for her, and the throwing her boyfriend in her face and choosing her boyfriends over Leah every single time. That is what has upset Leah. And the fact that Leah is aware now as not an adult, but an adolescent, about what her mom did in the past. All this addiction stuff, all this leaving her, going to jail, all of these things, that all affects how Leah feels. That's Leah's problem, not that Amber is depressed.
Yep. I thought this was strange, this whole episode. Amber's scenes were framed as woe is Amber. Like, Leah doesn't want a relationship with her. She was left by this guy in the mountains. Oh, she always says, I was left in the mountains.
I know.
At Bubby's wedding and whatever. So this whole episode was framed as woe is Amber. I'm sick of the woe is Amber show. So I'm glad that we actually won't be seeing any more of this after this season.
We won't?
She quit.
Oh, yeah, right. I don't believe
she quit.
I mean,
I don't think he's going to go on much longer, honestly.
I mean, I don't either.
None
We'll
of
see.
these kids are gonna give them what they want, except for maybe Jace.
Mhm. I agree. I definitely agree with all that. But if there's more seasons, I know that she quit, and I know that it was probably the most serious quit she's ever quit. But I don't know. I'll believe it when I see it personally.
What do you guys think, Chick Chat? Do you think
Yeah,
Amber
what
will?
do you guys think about the future in general with Teen Mom, but more specifically, do you think we'll see Amber back for next season of Teen Mom if there is a next season of Teen Mom?
Yeah, because it has been said that they haven't been filming in a while.
I
That it
know they
could.
take breaks though in between these long seasons because technically this is like episode 28 or something.
I don't even go. I just go off whatever episode during. I don't know what season this is. I hate how Teen Mom does their seasons.
Yes, they do
So
like a part A and B and whatever. So I don't know. We shall see. We never know what the future holds, especially with Teen Mom 16 years in or however long it's been. But what we do know is what the next episode holds.
what
And
does the next episode hold?
well, the girls has failed their test at the DMV for driving. So
Just like their mother.
just like the mother, they will not be getting a, I think this is for a permit, not a license, but they will not be getting it.
Not on the first try.
Not on the first try, hopefully on the second try, because if not, Allie said she's gonna rip the book in half. So we can't have that.
I wonder if
Also,
that's how Leah got her real estate license.
she finally got it, but I wonder how many times it took her.
She might have had to rip a couple books in half.
I'm sure she probably did. We're also going to see Ashley move. She wants to release all the negative energy from her apartment. Ryan is going to ask Benny to come over, and he's going to tell Bentley and Brandon that he wants to propose, and we're going to see him propose to Amanda. I think it's going to be filmed. Looks like it's going to be filmed. Mackenzie's going to tell her dad and her family about having twins, and it just cracked me up because he's like, I knew you were fertile Myrtle.
It's like they planned it through IVF.
I know. It's not like she miraculously had twins or that they did the separating thing because that was also possible. They could have
Yeah.
actually done organic
Yeah.
twins that separated. So thankfully that didn't happen. But yes, they did insert 2 embryos. And I mean, they both took, which there was only, I think she said a 20% chance
20%, yeah.
of that. So that is pretty high. I mean, I guess she is a fertile Myrtle, but she also has the diabetes. We're going to wish her all the best with her health. But she told her family with a little onesie or a shirt, I don't know what it was, but it said buy one, get one free. And I thought that that was hilarious.
No, because you paid for all those embryos, girl.
Well, the embryos, but the implantation process, I don't know if they charge
True.
you extra for 2, but it's like all the hormones, she just had to do that once. All the, those appointments are just once. So it's not free, but I thought that was a funny play on words with the twins with IVF.
There you have it.
There you have it.
Well,
And there it is.
There it is. Well, Chick Chat, we will see you next time. Remember to reduce, reuse, recycle. Rihanna, to like, subscribe, share.
Yes, all those things. Interact with us. We're happy to have you here. So see you next week.
Especially subscribe. We actually need a new subscriber goal.
You're right. We reached our
Mhm.
subscriber goal. So thank you to all of our new subscribers who are watching Teen Mom. We also covered Gypsy Rose and we also cover Sister Wives, which is coming back soon. So lots to watch on our channel. What do we want to do? We go for just 900?
Yeah, right now we're at 860, so we could just do 900 and then from
And
there
then go
maybe
for 1,000 after that.
Yeah, that's the big one.
Guys, I can't
That's
believe
our
it.
big goal.
Yeah. Holy cow. Okay.
That's our real goal.
Our
but-
real goal is 1,000, but right now help us get to 900 and we'll give you all a round of applause. There's your
Yeah.
pre-applause.
All right, Chick Chat. Well, you have a good one. See you next week.
Bye.